One extra note about while and for loops. One feature they have, which you don't see that often, to be honest, is you can specify an else case. Let's start with the while loop. After our loop, here on the same level as the while keyword, so completely on the left in my case here, we can add else, just as in the if statement. And there I can print user left. Now if I save this and I execute my blockchain file here and I quit, you see user left is output down there. Now the reason for this is the else case simply executes whenever the loop is done. So if I run my loop in the normal way where I, for example, add a transaction, you don't see user left in there. It really only executes after the loop execution is done, so after you leave the loop. For the for loop, it's actually the same. If we go to our for loop here, where I print my blockchain elements, if I specify an else block there, we can, for example, do a little trick we learned earlier and output 20 dashes. If I now execute my file and I add a transaction, whoops, it was too fast there, and I add a transaction here, and I add another transaction, and I output my chain, then you see this is getting added after the output, and this is coming from this print statement in the else block, which simply runs whenever it went through all the elements it's looping through. So the else block, a nice, good to know feature, which you, to be honest, don't use that often, but which can be nice if you have some cleanup work or some code you want to execute once you're done with a loop.